Many people struggle to maintain the habits that are necessary to keep their bodies generally ready to do the things they want to do in terms of being strong, mobile, and pain-free to be able to do the activities and lead the type of life that they want to lead. The biggest reason for this isn't usually laziness, it's because they're time and energy poor and lacking the correct systems to deal with those limitations. Things like family responsibilities, long work hours, demanding hobbies or sports, these things can eat the majority of the budget of our time and energy that most people have to invest in themselves and in their fitness and health. The reality is, whether you're someone who's working a physically or mentally demanding job, you have busy family responsibilities, or you're an athlete or serious hobbyist in a sport like jiu-jitsu or grappling, you need to find a way around this problem of having such a restriction on your time and energy, and also needing to invest a certain amount of that in an effective way so you can actually have more energy and more time in terms of longevity to be able to use your body in the ways that you want to use it and have confidence that it's going to be there to support you for what you need in life. Otherwise, things will just keep getting harder as we age, our bodies slowly lose strength and mobility and overall fitness and health. And this is the trap that so many people fall into, which leads to burnout, constant aches and pains, and the limiting belief that you're simply just getting too old to do the activities that you love and that bring joy and meaning to your life. For grapplers like myself and many of my clients, this might mean giving up on jiu-jitsu or just really restricting the amount of time and intensity that we can put into that sport and awesome hobby. For others, it could be limiting other sports, hiking, or just not being able to keep up with your kids and other things like that. But the truth is, it doesn't take hours in the gym to turn this around. In my experience, you only need to carve out about 40 minutes per week if you have the right kind of training to start moving and feeling better than ever. This is really for men and women who love jiu-jitsu or grappling or some other type of active lifestyle and hobby or sport, but are tired of the constant tweaks and injuries and feeling like they need to always be taking time off. This is also for busy adults who maybe don't train these types of martial arts or active sports and hobbies, but still want to be strong and resilient and fit for the long haul. And if you want to train with more confidence and feel better in your body, and finally find a routine that you can actually stick to, then you're in the right place and you should keep watching this video. This is not for people who just want another quick fix or another fad, to spend an excessive amount of time in the gym just to kind of say that you did and to check that box off. And it's not for people who only care about aesthetics and looking good but aren't really interested in health, longevity, or performance. I've personally been there. I used to chase every type of program out there that promised better movement and mobility, better performance and resilience to injuries, and more strength and muscle. I did things like kettlebells and functional training, yoga, traditional barbell training, hours of stretching and breathing exercises. And I found I was still stiff and not very strong and frequently injured, and just kept getting overwhelmed by finding different possible solutions online, different programs, different gurus preaching different types of solutions to the problems I was running into. And when I finally started lifting and working on my mobility properly and using the type of strength training and systems for exercise selection, exercise modification, progression that I now teach and use with my clients, everything changed for me. My strength started going up, my injuries went down, and suddenly grappling felt easier and not constantly injuring me. The great thing is that balancing this type of training with my lifestyle also got much simpler compared to all the other styles of training that I was trying before and experimenting with. The truth is, most people who struggle with fitness fall into the same traps. Programs that take too much time and energy and therefore just aren't sustainable in the long term. Diets that are way too restrictive and don't last, kind of for the same reasons that the exercise programs fail, as well as no real system for long-term progression in the areas that we want to progress in, which are probably going to be strength, mobility, fitness and endurance, things like body composition, movement quality, and more. And this is where most programs fail. They don't respect the fact that you have a very limited budget of time and energy, especially if you're super busy with family or work, or you're juggling multiple hard jiu-jitsu training sessions or some other demanding sport or hobby. So this is where my approach is different. I've built a system that I've developed and refined over the years of coaching and study and experimentation with myself and with my clients. And it works really well both for grapplers like myself and busy professionals because it focuses on 3 phases: habits, quality, and quantity. And this stuff works because it's really scalable and adaptable to the individual. So we start by building small, consistent habits. This is because consistency is really the most important thing at first. People tend to start off with a lot of intensity and lack the consistency. And if we can build the consistency in first, we can always add more intensity and volume on top of that. Additionally, the amount of actual volume that people need is a lot less than they think if they're able to maintain a certain consistency. And it doesn't matter how perfect your plan looks on paper if you can't actually stick to it. So I help people find ways to get the training and recovery in consistently, even when life is busy and there's a lot of demands on your time and energy. This often means shorter, more efficient workouts and nutrition solutions that fit your lifestyle that are realistic steps to build momentum and start getting us in the right direction. Because at the start of your journey, you're going to actually be the most sensitive to changes and you're actually going to need the least amount of intervention at first. And this is where people often kind of flip things on their head. And it's still possible to jump headfirst into something really demanding and get success, but it's much better to kind of slowly make modifications over time so that it doesn't feel like you're having to redo everything and you're simply just creating sustainable and scalable changes in your training and in your lifestyle. So the next thing is something that most coaches skip. We don't just want to add more weight right away and more intensity. We're not so focused on performance initially. That is going to ultimately be our main focus. But first, we really want to dive into movement quality. This is kind of form. So we identify where your body is not moving well, whether it's your hip mobility, your spinal mobility, how your shoulders move, or whatever it is. Then we use this to kind of inform our exercise selection using a biomechanical lens. So the quality of movement thing is something that we want to dial in. We don't need to spend forever stressing over it, and it doesn't mean that everybody needs to be able to achieve super high standards of mobility, but we need to figure out what's necessary for you to be able to move and do the things that you need to do and to be able to train to move you towards your goals. And then we either find a way to get your body able to assume those positions, or we find a way to modify the training and exercises to fit in to your current abilities so that we're able to scale things without constantly running into injuries and tweaks. This isn't about spending hours stretching or doing yoga or breathing drills. It's about unlocking better positions that we're able to and adapting the lifts to our needs so that your lifting and your everyday activities just feel smoother and stronger and less restricted. My clients quickly notice less joint pain and aches and pains and better posture, more confidence in their movement, and just fewer negative side effects from lifting and from training when we go through this step appropriately. This is really an individualized thing that one-on-one coaching really helps with. Once we've built a foundation of good enough movement quality for the goals, then we start layering on the appropriate amount of intensity safely. So my strength training approach that I found to be most effective for people within the goals and situations that I've been talking about so far is a lower volume and higher intensity approach where we find minimum effective doses and we slowly build on that. That usually means we're not using as many sets as many traditional exercise programs, but it really depends on how we're able to track your progress over time. We're just going to find the minimum effective dose, which is going to be different for the individual and for the specific exercise. We're going to find ways to safely push exercises to a high enough intensity to be able to get great results with less time investment in that way. This also makes the training a lot more fun and engaging because we're constantly setting PRs and we're constantly seeing our actual progress tangibly increase as we hit new PRs every single session. So a smart progression model using things like microloading and evolving rep ranges and using things like my PR addiction system ensures that we're always moving forward without burning out and without running into injuries. We also need to use rest times that are long enough so that you can perform your best at every set instead of trying to pack a ton of volume in to where we're just really building fatigue without hitting those high motor unit recruitments and mechanical tension that we really need to drive strength and muscle and comfort in different positions. So all these things keep you stronger and resilient without really draining your energy for other types of training, active hobbies, things like jiu-jitsu, busy professional life, etc. When you combine these 3 phases, you get a system that keeps you consistent, gets you out of aches and pains and moving better, and build strength and conditioning that you can actually sustain and scale to your lifestyle and your needs. And if you're a grappler, it helps you upgrade your skills at a faster rate at the same time. The end result is that you should feel stronger, more mobile, and more confident in your body, whether that's for the mats or for a sport or just for your lifestyle at work or with your kids at home with your family. So let's check out some of the feedback and reviews from clients that have been through my program and that I've worked with.
Only after 2 weeks, I noticed that I've been consistently be able to resist getting on bar on the mat with the usual daily things. I was using an electric saw months ago to do yard work, and I had to hold it with both hands. But now I can just use one hand easily. So it's really cool to see. I can pick up my 70-pound dogs up and down the stairs easily. I can also give my 6-year-old a piggyback ride going all the way down to the basement, get a basket of laundry, and then carry him and the laundry all the way upstairs again. And he's about 44 pounds. So it's really cool to see progress within just such a short amount of time, and we are just getting started. So I'm really excited. And if you are debating whether to start working with Paul, I would say don't wait.
Paul has really helped me level up my jiu-jitsu skills a lot in the jiu-jitsu gym. The other thing he's done for me outside of jiu-jitsu is really sharpen up my lifting. I was already familiar with a lot of the compound movements, but he has a lot of good details that are helping me move and feel better. He also has a great understanding of a lot of the accessory work that jiu-jitsu specific athletes can do to feel better on the mats and perform better. If you're serious about training, I would highly recommend this. He's helped me progress pretty quickly.
I know this is a lot of text on the screen to read. Feel free to go check out my Instagram if you want to look at many more testimonials. But I've been talking so much in this video about the results that I've been able to get people through my coaching and my programs. So I figured I'd provide a little bit of proof here so you don't think that I'm just making this stuff up. But again, feel free to check out my Instagram and send me a message if you want more info on some of the results and reviews that I've gotten from people. So now there's just one important question to ask yourself. What is not knowing this information and following up on this costing you every single month? Every month you put off working on something like this, you're losing out on strength, you're losing out on mobility, you're reinforcing bad habits that make injuries and burnout more likely. For grapplers, this could mean giving up on the sport that you love or having to really cut down on the amount of time you're able to spend in these types of activities that bring us so much joy, meaning, and community. For busy professionals and parents, this could mean that you're losing energy and time that you could be spending with your family or performing better at your job and just doing other activities that are really more meaningful than needlessly long and arduous exercise routines that don't really give you a good return on your investment. Trial and error on your own can take years. During this time, you're wasting time, money, and health, and most people spend more on medical bills, physical therapy, or gimmicky programs that don't work than they would simply investing in a proven coaching system like my own. My program isn't just an expense in this way, it's an investment in your health, your performance, and your longevity, and it's something that will pay back dividends for years to come. It's about buying back your energy and your confidence in your body, what it can do, and your ability to live fully and the way that you want to for decades from now, keeping more doors open in terms of the types of things that you can do and enjoy. And the return on that investment will pay off every single day that you wake up feeling stronger and more capable, as opposed to diminished, less capable, and kind of declining. So you've seen how this approach works. You've seen the results that my clients are getting. The only question left is, are you ready to stop spinning your wheels and finally build strength, resilience, and health in a way that actually lasts? If you're ready to join us, check out the links in the description. You can learn more about working with me one-on-one or check out some of the free resources that I have in my Skool community. So thanks for watching, and let's keep getting stronger together.